Hey, everybody, we're back. Thanks for joining us. If this is the first time you're tuning in, welcome to the STW tribe. I am joined by my soul siblings, and they're being really goofy tonight, and we haven't seen each other for 3 weeks, and so we're all a little hyper. So we have Avalon, the beautiful, beautiful goddess of ritual tarot. Say hello. Unmute yourself. You can unmute yourself for this.
Okay. Hello. Mwah!
And of course, we have the awesome creator of the Red Earth Oracle and the Tarot Ramble on Sunday nights, Chase the Tarot Goat. What up?
Yo, what's up? Yeah, we have she's here. Fantastic.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
Yes, I can hardly hear you though.
Oh no.
I know. This is not so what's going on? Is Mercury in retrograde right now?
All right, seriously though, right? Seriously. Use earbud. I know that usually helps when it's
I just don't know where I put them in the mess of all this. So hang on, I'm gonna put you down and go look for them.
Oh. Got it.
Okay. And we are joined by the lovely Jillian C. Wilde, who is the creator of the Naked Heart Tarot, who's had some incredible difficulties with the technical stuff.
There we go. I can hear you.
Can you hear us? Yay!
I can hear you. Yay!
We've had plugins and everything else. And so, Jillian, why don't you introduce yourself to everybody and say hello?
Well, hello, everybody. Nice to be here. I'm Jillian C. Wilde, the Naked Heart, creator of the Naked Heart Tarot, as Laura mentioned. Sorry for my very late arrival. I'm excited to be here, though.
All good. So, as usual, what we're going to do is we're going to start off with the news portion of the show. We were going to Tarantino this to give Jillian a little bit more time to get in here, but now we don't have to do that. So, I'm going to let Avalon start this news section off because she has the most news of all of us, I think. And so, Avalon, take it away.
Hi. Okay, so I have got some lovely little news. I've got 2 decks on Kickstarter at the moment. I have got 1 extra special deck that I'll leave to last to mention. Now, I've just got to remember these names, okay, because one of them is very similar to another deck that's already been created. The first one is a Kickstarter, and it's called the Wildflower Tarot. It appears to be like a black and white deck, and of course, we will leave the links to these in the description box of this particular live cast. But it is recently freshly on Kickstarter, and it's really quirky. It's got a nice dark theme. It's very it's not, I wouldn't necessarily say that it's a shadow deck, but I would definitely say that it's got a little something, extra to it. So that's the Wildflower Tarot. I do believe it's called the Wildflower Tarot. If I was smarter than I am presently, I would have written this down, but unfortunately I'm not. So the second one is called the Tabula Anime, I believe. No. That's not what it's called. I've got to get my, here we go. Okay, it's not the Wildflower at all. It's the Marigold Tarot.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
So the Marigold Tarot is the black and white. Well, it's not a black and white deck, actually. It's just a lot of black color rather than white space. You know what I mean? So there is color to it, but the background, rather than being stark white paper, it's black. So it's got a little something to it. So that's the Marigold. And it's the other one that I was thinking of was the Anima Mundi Tarot, which looks so nice, and that's another Kickstarter. That is another Kickstarter one. All of these can be found on Kickstarter. And now the last one that I was going to mention is one that is created by 2 YouTubers, and it is the Traditional Witches Oracle. And this one came into my sphere of consciousness relatively recently, and the brain behind the writing for this particular oracle is Keldon, and he has his own channel here on YouTube which really focuses on traditional witchcraft. The artwork for this particular deck is done by the channel Witch and Moon. I think her name's Maggie Elram. but they are doing this beautiful traditional witches oracle. It's lovely. They are both YouTubers, so go over and give them a big cuddle and a hello. We can insert their channel links, etc., in the description of this video. And lastly, of course, selfishly, spotlight on me and my bone stone, an earth flesh tarot.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you. Thank you. We have just completed the 3 of Cups. Now, nobody's seen any of the suit of Cups yet. The suit of Cups thus far has been a little something between Anna and myself. And I did this because I went away. I spent an enormous amount of time in water, like actually in and around water, camping in water, naked in water. I was like drinking up the nature. I was a full nature baby in preparation for my, attempt at the suit of Cups. And so we've moved through with all the intuitive loveliness that I brought back from my awesome camping trip away. And also the printer that I was going with, there was an issue there. But it looks like the gods have saved me. So I'll have more on that for my Bonestone Bash anyway. But things are traveling beautifully with the Bonestone and Earth Flesh Tarot, full completion of the Major Arcana, full completion of the swords, the suit of swords, and now a good solid start on the suit of cups. So moving through it with, grace and ease and magic and just amazingness. So that's all
awesome.
the news I have for you.
That's a big accomplishment.
Yay!
Yeah, that's got to feel good. That's got to feel really good.
It really does, yes.
All righty, Chase, what do you have for everybody?
So I, too, am going to be a little bit selfish on this news portion and talk about myself and my deck. So I would love to, and I was hoping that she would be in here because she's always made an STW live show, but she's not in here. But I did want to finally announce what I wanted to go forward with as my artist for my Red Earth Oracle. I'm so nervous, can't even talk. But I have to tell you before I make this announcement, and I'll make this short because I hate sitting here talking about all this shit that I've been going through for the last few months. And I know I've been talking so much about, all this shit that I've been through the last 3 months, and it has set me back so much. So I know that it's taken me so long to get to this point where I can finally just announce what I want to use as my artist. And I have to tell you, her art from the second that I received it, it was just bar above anybody else. And not to say that in quality or, everybody that's submitted art to me was fantastic. It was just sort of this, she has that style and that, like, I don't even know how to explain it, like that purpose behind her art that it just is going to go so well with the meaning of what I'm trying to put together for this deck. And so, are you guys ready for this? Are you guys ready? I know you've been waiting in anticipation for so long. So the art I've chosen, right? And I'm pretty sure she already knows because I've been alluding to her art this entire time. And so, but it is going to be Christina D. I do want to work with you. I want to work with you so very much on this deck. But the deal is that I will email you probably tomorrow morning, but the deal is that it's going to be a little bit of a slow process. Again, all the money that I had set back for this deck actually went into me and my health, so that happened, and life happens, but we're not going to sit on that, any longer and mope on that. I would like to move forward, so we're just going to move forward in a little different way. So very excited for that, very excited for her. So you will start to, can I talk tonight? My God. You will start to see from me some Red Earth rallies, much like what Avalon is doing. I stole that idea from her. I snatched it from you, much like she's doing with her Bonestone Bashes. Trendsetter, right? And so we are going to start having Red Earth rallies and have little live shows to show you guys a creative process. And I'm hoping to get this launched by the end of next year. But, I'm going to give myself 2 years just in case. Because, again, just like it's already proving to be that things don't always happen the way that you plan. So, but I'm very excited. So that's all I have. On to you. Allora.
So I'm going to be the boring one tonight. I don't have any projects in the works right now. Well, any that y'all need to know about?
She does. She just doesn't want to talk about the one that she's got because it's not really tarot related.
Hold on. Christina's here. She's here. Christina, did you miss that? Did you
I am turning red. Thank you. Oh God, I'm just
You're welcome.
Christina,
you're welcome, my blushing lady.
Christina, did you miss that?
I can't. She missed it.
I think she did. Did you miss it? So you are my artist. You are my artist. I would love to work with you on this deck if you would allow me to use your time and your talents for my wonderful Red Earth Oracle.
Oh my God, we get to be here when he breaks the news. This was this was better than I thought. I thought you'd already like spoken to her.
That's what I thought too.
No,
This is a big moment.
Not yet. I wanted to save it for a big moment. I feel like I had to make it big because, man, she has been sitting on this and waiting. And I know she's emailed me so many times and been like, so have you chosen yet? I'm like, no, I'm sorry. And she'll email me again and be like, so have you chosen yet? I'm like, no, I haven't yet. I'm sorry. And I just wanted to be like, it's you. It's you. It's you. But I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready yet. So, yeah, so I'm very excited. Her art, again, now that she's here, let me restate my...
Go, do your thing.
I have to, right? But honestly, Christina, like, your art was just so freaking dope. And from the first time I saw your Raven was when I was like, that's it. Sold. This is it. Like, that image and how you drew that Raven was just so stunning. Like, in my head, it was crazy because I always complain about how if I could just take the images that I have in my head and put them down on a piece of paper, like, your art is what they would look like. And so I'm very excited and very eager to start working with you. So we will be in communication this week. I would love to get a contract and all those things started and signed, and we can start working on this baby. So I look forward to it. Anyway, now I know it's very exciting.
That's so exciting. And you just said something that reminded me. I'm only going to say this. I'm just going to say this. I have booked an Arturian for my next deck. It's booked. I won't say anything more. I'm not saying anything more about it. I'm not going to tell you themes or anything like that. But she's booked. I'm like, this was organized a couple months ago, actually, and I forgot to say anything.
That's so dope. No, that's fantastic. That is fantastic. Congratulations. That's so dope. That's so dope. I love it.
Well, if I would have known that you were going to be actually announcing your artist on the show, I would have had you go last, but you didn't say that, so.
I did. I said I'm going to announce who my artist is. And everybody said, okay.
But you said, but never mind.
We thought that you'd already spoken to her. And I would have grabbed my drum. You totally ripped me off an opportunity to drum then.
I lost the opportunity for drums.
Yeah.
I can't believe it.
Announcement. Anyways, okay. So this is going to be anticlimactic, sort of. So anyways. But all I have to bring you is a book. But it is so my kind of book because it's called What the Fuck is Tarot and How Do I Do It? It is by Baccarat. And I'm actually going to share the post on Instagram where I saw it. It actually drops tomorrow, so you guys can order it on Amazon and places like that. And yeah, it looks pretty dope, and I really want to get it because that is so my lingo. Like, if I was just going to learn tarot, I'd be like, what the fuck is tarot and how do I do that? So definitely. Jillian, do you have any news that you would like to announce?
Well, I think you and I briefly talked about it before. Potential release date for the Naked Heart Tarot. So I believe at this point, pre-sale orders are going to go up at the end of October. Yay!
That is awesome.
That's been a long time coming.
Yeah, and tonight I get to learn all about your tarot deck, which I'm really, really stoked for. I saw it, and, you know, it's very minimalistic, but the art is just so, it hits really deep, if that makes sense. I mean, I don't know if that's how you feel about your art, but that's how I
I hope so, because that was my intention.
Well, your intention, like, shined through.
Thank you.
And I know from your blog that you have a spiritual practice. So I'm going to start with your spiritual practice, and then we'll get into how the deck came about. Yeah?
Sure.
Okay. So when did you start on your path?
That's kind of actually how the deck came about. So it's going to sort of bleed into one story here, I think. So I don't know if it's so much when I started off on my path or when I fell off my path. So when I was about 16 years old, and from the time I was young, I had a lot of premonitions and a lot of things happen. And I didn't really know what was going on with me or what it was. And it was kind of a scary experience because I didn't really have anybody to talk to about it. And as I got older, things kept creeping up, and I shut myself down completely because I didn't know how to handle it or what to do. And then it's almost 5 years ago now, I got into a really bad car accident. And I had premonitions leading up to the accident for about 2 weeks, being like, car accident, car accident, car accident. I couldn't shake it. And then sure enough, I got hit. And then, one thing led to another. I was injured. It wasn't terrible in the sense of like near death or anything like that, but it was a shaker. It took a toll on my body. And at that time, I was doing a job that I no longer liked. A lot of my physical activities and things that I was used to doing, I wasn't able to do anymore. And just one day, I honestly just got on my knees and prayed. And I just said, dear universe, show me what it is that I'm supposed to do that will make me happy and how I can serve others. And I truly, truly on that day, I think surrendered myself more than I've ever surrendered myself. And everything just started to unfold from there. Yeah. So I had no attachment to what the outcome was with this whole journey. So it's been very interesting to me to see where it's actually ended up.
Yeah, it's funny how that happens, huh?
Yeah.
I give up. I quit.
Yeah. Yeah. What's that?
That's amazing. I had like little goosebumps all up and down my arms. I was like, tell me this amazing bedtime story that's not a bedtime story that's so amazing. That's really, really, that is a very intense experience.
It has been a very
honor
intense
that for
experience.
a moment. It was a very intense experience. And one of those genuine thunderstrike awakening moments.
Yeah.
That I personally refer to those moments as the quickening, and I think you've had one of those major examples of what it feels to experience the quickening on a very intense scale. So
absolutely.
That's really impressive.
Yeah, I feel like there's been a lot of a karmic burn with this whole path too. So yeah, it's been big. Yeah. Yay, on the other side now.
So with that, so your story behind the deck, I know that on your blog you talk about like specific cards and the stories behind the cards, because one thing that really struck me about your deck and your blog and just you in general is you have a quote on your, I think it's on your blog, or maybe it's on just your homepage, I can't remember, but it says something about everybody says that you live the tarot when you create it.
Gosh.
And so you started telling stories related to each and every card.
Yeah.
And so can you tell a story of one of the cards, because your stories are just fascinating the way that you tell them, and you're an excellent storyteller. So that tells me the deck is going to have like a very rich guide to go with it, because this is all of your experiences in 78 cards, which is awesome.
79 actually.
What?
That's right. There's a surprise one in there.
I love a surprise card.
I'll give you guys a quick look. This is how thick the guidebook is. It's 288 pages. So it's chock full of writing.
I'm sorry, can you just show that again? Because that was a bit of porn right there. Like
that's just this is the sample.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
It's so big.
It's so big. It was a lot of writing. It was really good though. Okay, what was the question now, Laura? I forgot what you asked me.
Just pick any one of your cards that you've done, and you can get out the artwork and then tell us the story behind that card.
Yes, sure. Let's do the Hangman, because that card to me is my like near and dear, like beloved card in the deck. So actually, if you want to go through some pieces of art, we can do that. When this started out, when I'd gone, the story is going to be a little bit long, but I will get back to your question. So when everything started out, I really got into my spiritual practice and I really started to delve into my art, and both things had like merged for me really, really big. And I first started working on a series of chakra girls. And so I feel like that had really lined up and cleared out my chakras by the time I was done that. And then I started to work on a few other projects, and then I started to create an oracle deck. And that didn't quite trip over. And I just was like, I had no worries. Like, I just didn't know what anything was going to lead to. So I'd really, through this process of really putting my heart and soul into a lot of different pieces, didn't know where it was going to go, but never felt attached to anything. So it was like I was getting into a steady practice of, okay, I'm not sure where this is leading. Don't quite know yet, but let it go. So as I started to create the deck, the tarot, because that was the next thing that seemed to come in line for me, I started everything off in black and white. And I can show you a few of the things. I don't know if I can stretch all the way here with my headphones. I might have to disconnect for a second. So I'll show you the very first one.
I'm so excited.
Okay.
I'm so excited.
These two are.
And can I just say, just behind you, it's just behind you, Jillian, there is like a little heart on the wall, and it's got the little like revert. What is it called? Help me out here.
Vibrations.
Help me out. That's it. There we go.
Yeah. Well, that was part of it too. So I started doing all this stuff with vibrations and arts, and that was probably about 5 years ago. So I had forgot about that piece and its connection to all of this too. So when I started the tarot, everything started in black and white.
It's gorgeous.
And they started on these large pieces of paper.
That's so pretty.
I was working my way through. So my injuries at this point with my car accident had got a little bit better. And one day I ended up going to see a chiropractor and to help me, and it exacerbated everything, and it made everything really, really bad. So at this point I had been working on all these black and white pieces for about 2 months, and then got injured worse. And so I really had a lot of time to sit and do all this work because I was literally on crutches and couldn't really do anything with myself. So I really threw myself into all my artwork. And as I was going along, I got all the way through the major arcana up into the hangman and started to get excited. Allora, I'm sure you can appreciate that. You get so many cards in and you can start to see, or sorry, Avalon. Yeah, you get so many cards in and you can start to see things that are actually coming about. So I got down to the hangman and I thought, okay, great. I'm going to scan everything into the computer and make sure that it fits all into the tarot card size, and, you know, making sure that everything fits, and literally did the scan, put everything into the computer and looked down, and I was like, oh my God, it doesn't fit. Nothing fits. Nothing fits the proper tarot card size. And I thought when I'd spent so much time doing measurements and trying to triple or double and make everything work so it would fit, and it didn't. And just before that had started, I actually was, I kept getting all these calls in my head to create in color. Like I was like, I want to create in color. Like I was kind of getting bored of working in black and white, and it was like, create in color, create in color. So I kept taking these breaks through the major cards that I was doing. And at some point, when I looked down at the card at the hangman, I'd been working on that one. Sorry, I feel like I'm kind of skipping all over the place here, but I was working on the hangman in black and white, realized it didn't fit, and literally was staring at the hangman going like, holy shit, what do I do? This has been a lot of work, a lot of effort that I've already put into this. And that literally the whole thing of surrender came right through again. So I was like staring at it and was like, you don't, like, just hang out in this for a moment, just hang out in this for a moment, and something beautiful is going to come from this. There's going to be a new perspective. And sure enough, that was when I realized that everything was supposed to be in color.
So did you have to redraw all of the ones that you...
Yep, we started from scratch.
Or did... So you did all of the minors?
No,
first?
I
Yeah?
hadn't done the minors. I actually started with the majors.
So you did. So you got all the way through to the Hanged Man, and then had to scrap it all and start again.
So I was, I think, 2 or 3 months in.
I love that. I just love that story so much because that is like hangman right there. Like that's
right there. Yeah.
That's it. That's like initiation. That's like trials. That's tribulations. That's like, well, fuck me, all right there in that space. And it's like a complete surrender. Complete surrender. That's your 9 dark nights of the soul, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I love it too because as I treat my, I guess my art, my channel, sort of how my life goes is that, too, it is so important to note that, if I did it once and something happened to it, well then instead of looking at it as like this, instead of being distraught about it and being sad about it, it's important to say, well, if I did it once, then I can do it again. And this time, if I get the second chance, if I'm getting this opportunity, look at it as an opportunity, then I can do it better than I did the first time around. And, it's so important to just have that mindset, and that, just because we have to start over doesn't mean that it's over. It's just, it's just a restart. And so we have to take advantage of that moment that we've got and just make it better, make it brighter, make it whatever it is that we are creating. So I love that story. I love it.
Yeah. I think for the past 5 years, had I not been practiced really surrendering into this whole art thing, I think that might have been a whole other story. But
That's
true
amazing.
Surrender and run.
Yeah.
I think it's a really powerful concept to talk about too, as within the context of creative
I missed what
flow.
you said.
Surrender is a really important and powerful topic to explore when in reference to the creative flow. And
sure.
I find that creativity is somewhere that can be, it can exist in each person in a place that, that's dark and disconnected. And in some people, it can be in a place that is light but still disconnected. Creativity and art and forms of free expression like that, they're not necessarily nurtured in the human being as much as they used to be these days.
Mm-hmm.
And so there can be a lot of sadness, a lot of trauma, a lot of just blockages in general when it comes to art. And then the moment that you start sort of like churning those waters a little bit, like incredible things can happen, but also incredible lessons. And I find that the size and the breadth and the intensity of those lessons can align with the length of time that you have been disconnected from your practice. And so they're big shunts, they throw big roadblocks and things like that. If you've been 20 years disconnected from your creative endeavors, the block's going to feel really, really big to you because there's a lot there to work through. And it's as much healing as it is shadow work, as it is working through it, as it is evolution, as it is, bringing light to these spaces and these incredible processes that are inherent in the human species. So, yeah, I think that's, surrender is just,
absolutely. And I think, Avalon, I think for me at this point, had I not worked through, I think, the chakra system when I first started this, I don't know what would have come out of it. Like, I think there was a lot of healing that happened through that. So
yeah, it makes
cool.
Total sense too. Just makes total sense to the story, doesn't it? Amazing. Love it.
Oh yeah.
I love that this idea of synchronicity with surrender, like, and I talk about it again. I wasn't going to talk about it because I feel like all I'm talking about is all the bad shit that's happened to me for the last 3 months, but not telling you what it is. But like this the whole surrender thing has been happening to me, and it just kept building and building and building and building until one day I was actually sitting in traffic in the busiest intersection here in Oklahoma City, and it was just like everything just like hit me, and it was just one of those things where like I can't handle this. And so I literally sitting there at a stoplight in traffic, I threw my arms up and I was like, I just let go, spirit. I let go. I can't handle this. Like, I cannot control everything, obviously. And there is a new chapter you're trying to start with me, and you're trying to shed all these things, and I'm letting you do it. I just let go. I just let go. And that was when, like I was talking earlier about this opportunity, like everything just started to shift. I woke up that very next day, well, actually from that moment, like everything started to shift, and I was like, oh, well, this is getting dropped from my life because of this opportunity sitting on the other side of it. Now that this is going away, now I have time to do this. Now I have time to do this. And it was not anything that I had envisioned or pictured, and it wasn't my own timeline. And so, you know, I was very resistant to it, and it's just all about that surrender. It's just a beautiful, beautiful thing. And I would just have this complete outlook on, you know, I'm not stressing about it anymore. And, you know, all the major changes that I'm going through are just starting. You know, I'm going to go through some shit for the next few months, but it's okay. Because it's also giving me opportunity to I finally have the chance to sit down now and announce who my artist was and finally get started on that. And, you know, it's just a beautiful thing. Surrender is just, it's necessary. It's so necessary.
Yeah. Not always easy, but necessary. Yep. I can relate to you a lot, Chase. I don't know what you're going on, what's happening with you health-wise, but for me, I was bedridden for months on crutches and a cane for almost over a year. And had that not happened to me, I would not have had the time to create the deck.
Isn't that amazing? It's
blessing in disguise.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just opportunities. It's all opportunities. We can sit there and we can let it crush us, or we can look past it and, you know, and look at everything that's opening up. You know, and it's such a stereotypical thing to say that when a door closes, another opens, but it truly is. And in all obstacles, doesn't matter how bad it is and how you know, how bad it looks. I don't want to say how bad it is, how bad it looks. There's always opportunities on either side, around it, under it. You know, everything we can do to a box, right? Whether you know, no matter where it is, you just have to look for it, and it's not going to be in the place where you think it is, because this isn't about you and your timeline. This is about like you were saying earlier, you found what your purpose was and how to change and how to affect people. And it was just so beautiful. It's just finally I'm getting into that now, and it's not how I thought it was. You know, of course, obviously, again, it's not about us. We put ourselves in everything, which is how we're bred to be as humans. And it takes something like spirit to just, or however you identify, but it takes something like spirit to just, you know, finally sit us back. And I just celebrated my 31st birthday last year. It's just now in my 31st year of life that I have genuinely let go, and I am letting something bigger than me steer my direction and my purpose. And the last week has just been like the dopest, most amazing, eye-opening experience ever. And I'm very excited. I'm excited now to lose all these things and go through these. Yeah, and I'm going through all these things. And,
awesome.
and you know, all these health issues that I'm going through, like it's gonna suck. But you know, there's opportunity outside of that. And just like you, now I have time to sit down and work on my deck when I can't be at work doing things. Well, I get to be at home sitting. So what else am I going to do but work on my friggin' deck? So
I'm so excited for you.
Thank you.
You are going to have a whole waterfall of things flow to you. This is awesome.
I hope. I'm so excited. But anyways, enough about me. I love it.
So Jillian, do you have any of the like the color stuff where you can show like the black and white versus the color?
Yes, let's do that.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
So my samples arrive in 2 days. So I tried to get the factory to rush them. I was like, come on, but they're on holiday. They have a week holiday. So that wasn't going to happen. So what I did is I just took some color proofs and I taped them or glued them down to the cards. It's almost the real thing. Okay, hang on. I have to disconnect to get to the table to get them.
This is just so dope, you guys. Dope.
You're welcome.
Synchronicity, right? Thank you.
All I gotta say. Y'all welcome.
Love it. I love it. I love it.
And that is synchronicity for Jillian to be on the week that you do all of this.
Right? It is. So like, as she was telling her story, right? And I was sitting there listening to her. I'm like, man, I want to tell her how this applies to me so much, but I don't want to do like I just did. I just had to share my story and make it all about me. And that wasn't my intention because I sat there talking for forever, but like just how synchronized all this is and just how it is, you know, affirmation that I'm finally just living the truth that I'm supposed to be. It's just dope.
I'm so happy to hear that because I have to tell you before I came on this call, as I do every morning, it's a very rigid practice for me, is I always ask what I can say, who I should talk to, what I should say, and how I should carry my day out. And before I came on here, I said, please just show me how I can be in service and inspire someone. I hope that message was for you.
Yeah, it was. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. I think that's really important too. So I practice that same thing. So with my practice, it centers all around the directions. Is kind of like every direction, Southwest has its own purpose in our life, and so the East is like the beginning and the renewal and the message of the day. So when I get up in the morning, I purposely have my bed facing the East, and I throw my arms open and I say, okay, thank you, Spirit, for this new day, for this sunrise. Give me the message, give me the purpose, and how can I, kind of like you said, like what are the words I'm going to say today to affect somebody and get them onto their true path. I love it.
Yeah. Okay, ready for some cards?
Inspirational, guys. You're like my inspiration.
Oh, well, you're my inspiration, so
you're all my inspiration.
I didn't even hear it anyway, so that's all you.
I just wear the headscarf and find the awesome artist. That's my job.
All right, okay. You want to see some cards?
Let's see them. I'm
yes,
excited.
Let's see some cards.
Can we see?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Here, hang on. I'm going to click on you. There we go.
Freaking dope.
Let's
handle it.
I want to show you because we were talking about the hangman. We should just show the before and after. So here was the hangman originally.
So much symbolism with the bat too.
I am working on this little teeny tiny camera on my phone here, so I can't tell what you guys can actually see.
You're coming through fine.
Okay, so there's how the hangman ended up.
Much richer, I would say. Like.
Oh, and so much more fun.
Oh.
So much more fun to create.
Much more full-bodied.
The Chariot.
I just love these cards.
So they are taped, just so you know. We've got they're on the actual back of the cards that were sent to me from the factory, but they are glued on.
Do what you got to do.
So the quality, I promise, will be a lot better.
There you go.
Oh, we got the devil.
This was the first card that I saw of this deck. I don't have to tell you, like the second I saw it, I was like, oh my god, this is like the dopest shit I've ever seen. It's so I freaking love that card. And that was all Allora. She was like, you have to look at this. I was like, I do have to look at this. I do. Oh, yeah, I love it.
Yay, thank you.
Welcome.
The Fool.
Oh. Laura, can you blow her up? As in, like, bigger?
Yeah, don't destroy me. Just getting started.
Can I blow her up? What do you?
This is not the era in our history to be saying things like that, I suppose.
But for real though, is there a way to click on so she's permanently on? Isn't there a way to do that? Am I crazy?
Just click on her little thumbnail there as factory controller.
Yeah, I mean, I clicked on her thumbnail, and that what you see is her. I mean, like I don't have any other controls to make her larger on the screen.
Oh,
that's stupid.
She's on her phone.
We'll have to click on her own then.
I guess we'll just have to be super silent so she can have the camera.
All right, I would just a special request. I would like to see the Hierophant, please.
Always.
I don't have her out.
We're gonna be quiet and not say a word so she can have the screen. I thought by me clicking on the box, it would automatically be on Jillian for the rest of the card reveal. I don't know.
I only glued 8 cards, so I don't have the Hierophant ready. I really wish this was happening in 2 days.
Well,
I don't know how that works for divine timing, but
right, we'll have to come back on and showcase it.
Yes, we'll have to do something. I might have a print though.
Oh yes, I'd settle for a print.
But I'm gonna have to cut this because I can't show you all the cards.
Hey, Jillian, can you flip your phone sideways? Because it'll make you wider on the screen.
Okay, we're gonna try this. And we're going to hope for no more technical difficulties.
Ta-da!
Yay! Did that do it? Okay, I'm sorry.
That totally did it.
Yay.
That totally did it. And there's a person in the
I'm
background.
just cutting
hiding.
this. I'm cutting this now, okay? So this is not a real card at this point.
Okay.
I'm staring at the heart thing in the background.
See, that's the thing that I was looking at, and then there's like a person in overalls like hiding in space.
Did you see the acrobat on the wall on the right?
Yes, very Cirque du Soleil, like the contortionist style.
Cool.
Oh, are you looking over there?
Yes.
Mhm.
Oh, you can see that part of my room. We're just going to switch you over a little bit. Thanks for pointing
Look
it
at
out.
that lamp.
Okay, here's where.
Welcome to STD, where we embarrass the shit out of you, and we have no filter.
There's the Hierophant.
Oh my goodness.
Breathe, bitch, breathe.
See?
Oh my gosh.
That is dope.
Oh, look at that. I've got so many things I could say about that. That's probably one of my favorites. That would be a top 10. That would be a top 10 Hierophant. That's my that's my overarching statement there. One of my top 10 Hierophants.
Aw, thank
Did you hear that, people? Top 10 Hierophant. Top 10. In the top 10.
Woo!
Put that in there.
Thank you. Thank you.
I don't know if you're going to show it, but can I just say that your hermit card is the bomb diggity as well? I could not even believe that you put that image together. I was like, oh, that's so dope.
We can show the
I
hermit.
can't believe that you said bomb diggity. That's just what I can't believe.
I'm a 90s baby, okay? Well, actually, I was born in the 80s, but I grew up in the 90s, so
Listen,
yeah.
we're
Oh,
both-
look,
we're
don't
both
try and
80s
skim.
babies.
Don't try to year skim to make yourself younger. Don't year skim. That's not cool.
We were both 80s babies.
By
Okay,
1990,
I'm cutting out the hermit here for you from this piece of paper. The hermit.
look how awesome that is.
Is that a tattoo?
That is dope. That is dope.
Also,
That is the dopest.
and a key and an owl.
I cannot. My brain exploded.
That is so what we hermit people do when the world gets crazy. We're like, nope, not
Yep.
today.
Where's my shell? I ain't doing this.
So I'd just like to say, these are the cards that they're actually going to come on. This is the sample ones.
Do you know what GSM that is?
That's my question.
Yes, I do. But I can't remember off the top of my head.
380 GSM, 350 GSM,
You know what?
280 GSM.
Just before I came on here, I've had this little sticky note attached to my workstation here for probably about 3 months with all the specs of the entire deck. And I just moved it so I could clean this, so I could put my computer on it instead. And now I don't know what I've done with it. I think that's right though. 380. They're good. They're not super hard, but they have a little bit of flex to them. They shuffle really nice.
So it's
Really
bomb
nice.
diggity cardstock is what
Bomb
you said.
diggity cardstock.
We went for the best. Yep.
That
A
is-
good shuffle's a good shuffle, right? It's worth the effort.
Can you riffle shuffle them? Because that's the next question. Oh, man.
The fakies.
Okay, so I have to ask you,
Yes.
what was your favorite thing about creating the Naked Heart, and what was your least favorite? Like, what was the worst part of the process, and what was the best part of the process?
Okay, that is a good question. Well, I think the best part of it is that I felt like my art was saving my life because I was completely broken. So it really allowed me to get out of my head and really connect deeply with spirit. I feel like I've not felt this connected to spirit ever in my life. since going through that process. And I think my least favorite was because I had been experiencing so many of the cards coming to light that when I hit the tower, I was like, holy shit, I'm not ready to create this card.
And then there's that. And then there's that.
It's like Tarot Jumanji.
It is like Tarot Jumanji.
It's
Yes.
it's definitely a thing. Like I found that I had a very similar conversation a couple of weeks back with Anna, without getting into detail. Anna had broken Tara and I had broken a finger. Her husband had an issue that was very similar to my husband's health issue, and we found some stuff like reflecting, and our common bond is the tarot. And then we started looking at the deck and what we were creating and where we were with it, and it was like,
Yeah, it makes perfect sense, right? Though I do have to say that the tower, because I was so terrified of creating it, I really had to get in touch with what the tarot really means, or the tower really means. Like I was really what good can come from a card that feels so fearful. And so I actually haven't released this card yet, but let's do it.
Yes, I love when this shit happens.
Reveals.
Except I have to cut it and glue it. So I'm going to talk, cut, and glue at the same time.
Go. This is what it means to be a
officially
woman.
multitasking. Yeah, so I was thinking about the card, and I was like, oh my God, all this, distraction, upheaval, all of this stuff. And then I thought, and then all of a sudden one day it just kind of clicked in. I was like, oh, the beauty. And then I just started thinking about like mass destruction in forests and mass destruction with how we see all these things happening all over our earth with like earthquakes and all this terrible stuff that just affects people that is so supremely out of their control. And then I was specifically thinking about, are you guys still there? I don't have any camera.
Yes.
You are? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then I started really thinking about forest fires and stuff, because we actually have a ton of forest fires where I live in Vancouver. And then it just came in like a beam of light, as inspiration does. And I was like, yes, that's the whole thing. That's it. The tower is the destruction of the forest, because the most beautiful thing that comes from a forest fire and mass devastation is complete regrowth, new growth.
Right.
So
exactly.
That was the inspiration behind this card. So you'll see it here in a sec. But yeah, I really had to wrap my head around the fear, because I was just like, please don't come into my life. Please don't come into my life. Things are going decent right now. I'm happy. Don't.
And I think that's something that if anybody out there is thinking about creating a deck, if you're going to
think wisely.
Yeah, well, I mean,
kidding.
You have to realize that you're going to live your creation in some aspect or another, whether it's an oracle that you're creating, all of your own new ideas, they're going to be drawn from your experience, whether past or present. Yeah. And same with the tarot deck.
Yeah.
I
think. I know. There's the tower.
Oh, so good.
I think Chase and Avalon are muted.
Yeah.
We are indeed. Every time that you talk, we want you to have the camera, so we mute ourselves. Because every little thing that we do brings the attention onto us. So.
Oh my goodness! No pressure.
No pressure at all. God, that card though is amazing.
Thank you.
Amazing. You're welcome.
Yeah. No, I feel comfortable with the tower now.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I think it's one of the most beautiful cards in the deck. Not my artwork, but speaking as just a card in general.
Yes, your artwork. Yes.
But thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Okay, so is the official release date going to be on your site, or can we bug you and figure out when that's going to be so we can let everybody know on the STW page when it's launched?
Yes, you can bug me. Better yet, I can send you an email.
Yay. I think I signed up for the email personally.
What's that?
I signed up for that email personally, not through STW, but I think I did on my own, like from my.
Thank you.
Hmm?
Yeah, so I'm gonna send out. As soon as I get the sample, I have some pictures to do and some photography that needs to be done this week to get things going, and then I'm going to do an email newsletter to all the subscribers. So it'll go out that way, and then it'll go out on Instagram. And if you want to know, I'll let you know for sure. I'm just waiting on a shipment because that's what I need to know for sure to be able to say when pre-sale will start for sure and when they can actually be shipped. So, because I think from to the time of pre-sale to the time of shipment, it'll probably be about a 4 or 5 week wait time.
Cool. Yay.
Yeah. So not too long. Definitely in time for Christmas.
Yeah, in time for Christmas. That'd make a good Yule gift for people. Yeah. Okay, so now that you've created the Naked Heart, I have to ask this question because I'm curious. So do you have any plans for future decks that you want to create, and or do you have any one that you would really like to collaborate with on a deck?
Ooh. Well, I want to do the project with you guys. I totally do. I think it sounds so cool.
Okay.
I sent off an email and I'm going, but they didn't even respond. They want me on the show, but they're not responding.
Okay, this is something else. Like, I didn't get to say this. I meant to say this before we even started. We actually got a lot of interesting comments because we put out a statement basically saying that all of our projects for like our deck that we want to do or that we're doing, the community deck, books that we have already started on together, things like that, have gone on the back burner until the new year, just because individually we are so, we have such full plates that we were literally drowning trying to keep up with everything. And so we put out a statement that basically said we're putting all the other projects on the back burner for now. We have not emailed anybody about the deck yet because we have all the submissions. We just don't have time to email 70 people at this moment. And we got a lot of people going, what happened to you guys? Are you okay? Is anything wrong? Are you leaving? Are you disbanding? Are you what? I'm like, no.
So nice, they care.
I'm like, no, guys, nothing's happening.
We've seen your art, and I'm pretty confident that I can speak for all three in saying that you're in. Like, it's just, it's a matter of it just moving forward. Like, you're there. The name's down.
Thank you.
Automatic yes. It's a yes for me.
Yay!
I feel like we're on American Idol.
At least you're not hitting the buzzer. No.
I can be Simon if you want and be like, well.
You know what? This is going so well. I don't recommend it.
Oh, man.
Oh, my goodness. Well, I'm
but do you have
excited.
hang on a second. Wait. Do you have any concepts?
I was about to say the same thing as you were going to say, Allora. I think we twinned then. We were twinning.
Twinning. We're ridiculous. I'm sorry.
I'll mute my mic. She can speak.
Is anybody talking?
Okay. Did you? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. But as for future decks, do you have any concepts of future decks that you already have in your head that you're like, yes, next I want to create this?
Yes, it's not a hard yes. I have about 5 things that I'm working on right now, and every day I get up and I say, "Show me what's next. Show me what's next." So there is an oracle deck in the works. There is a children's book that has been written and half illustrated. There is another potential book that is coming out and potentially an adult novel. So there is quite a few things.
All I gotta say is Jillian is spiritual creation goals. Hashtag. Can we make that a hashtag? Oh my God.
So we'll see. We'll see what I'm supposed to do.
Very exciting. Very
Yeah.
exciting.
I would love to see a revamp of this oracle deck of yours.
Do not get hasty there, mister.
I can give you, I'll show you one image that I've been working on.
You got it.
That's potentially might go into this deck.
We'll take it.
Right?
Jillian, say something.
Say something. Yeah, so that's the inspiration behind the beginnings of potentially this next deck. I'm just not sure what it's going to look like, and I kind of have something else burning in the back burner. So I just, it's like everything else I've done with my art. I keep going until something sticks, because I know enough information will come through for the pieces start to fit together. So just rolling with it.
That's awesome. Is there a potential name for said oracle?
No, because I don't know what direction it's going to go in yet. I'm letting it do its thing. It's brewing. It's in the witch's cauldron right now.
That's awesome. So we've got a request for you to hold that up again.
Sure.
And when you hold it up, make some noise so that the camera.
Okay, I'm here. Can you hear me? Is that some good noise? Excellent.
Yes.
So the inspiration behind that piece and where this whole thing getting started is just being the fearless guru of your life. Yeah.
There's something in that, isn't there? The fearless guru of your life.
Yeah.
We'll
see.
Saying, shut up and take my money, please.
What's that?
Hashtag shut up and take my money.
Yeah, so things are unfolding.
Well,
yeah,
this is definitely tasty treat material.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what's coming. I love it when the days of inspiration just kind of keep going and going and going, and everything just keeps bubbling up and bubbling up, and then before you know it, there's something else.
All right. Now, so are you guys ready to switch gears a little bit?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready.
All right.
Are
so
you
before
ready, are you ready?
Yeah. Am I ready? I don't know what we're doing.
Exactly.
I feel a little bit terrified right now.
You should be.
It should be a little bit of on your toes. You should definitely feel like like that fight or flight sense is kind of kicking in.
Yeah. Okay.
Happening just a little bit. Just a little bit.
That started as soon as all the technical difficulties happened.
Right?
I don't even know if I've shaken it since then.
All right. Okay, so we're going to come back to your questions, so hold that thought. But we have a game planned for Jillian, and we're so excited. So we always do funny rapid fire stuff on here, but we kind of switched it up for you. Because normally the way this goes is we ask questions and you have to answer them rapid fire, right?
Okay.
But for you, we came up with word association. So we have all jotted down a word.
Okay.
Say a word. You have to tell us the first thing that comes into your mind that is associated with that word.
Okay. I surrender. I'm completely connected to the divine right now. Don't say anything bad.
Well, we're gonna.
We will pry that out of you one way or another.
Shaking it out. Okay.
All right, you guys got your words? Ready?
I didn't write anything down. I'm just going to pull these out of my head.
Or out of your ass. Either or.
Me and you.
Okay. All right. So it'll go me, Chase, Avalon, and then back again, okay?
Okay.
All right. First word, self-love.
We lost her. And we lost her.
That's an answer.
First word, we lost you.
Hells yeah.
Okay. My word is hex.
Oh my God. I'm just feeling flustered and hot right now. This is the weirdest game. Okay. Money. I have to
Yoni
clear my
steaming.
mind. I'm thinking too hard here. Okay. I'm clear.
All right, it's my turn. It's my turn. Yoni steaming.
White light.
What?
Oh God.
I told you I was going to wing it.
Can we go back to self-love?
Allora, keep the floor. Keep the floor.
Keep the flow. Okay. Samhain.
What?
Samhain.
I
Salmon.
can't. Salmon?
No. No. Okay.
I thought you said salad.
That's not my answer.
Here, I'll pick a different one.
Okay.
Ritual.
Me.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of goes along with mine, but I took it to a really dark place because that's just what I was feeling like. Blood sacrifice.
Goat.
Goat. There you go. There you go.
Mine is witch.
Hat.
Which hat?
Which one?
Okay, my tacos.
Oh, Tuesday.
Yes! Everybody loves a good Taco Tuesday. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love
Oh
it.
my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Hematite.
Crystal.
Cauldron.
Witch's brew.
All right, last round. Here we go.
Thank God.
Woman.
Important.
Let's go. Blue.
The sky.
Charlie Hunnam.
What?
Oh, honey, we know who he is.
Sons of Anarchy.
That's right.
I would have accepted sex god and or living deity, but
Or
that's fine. Sounds about like he works too.
like Dorco. Isn't he? That's like the downfall for me. He's like smaller than me, I think.
You guys, that game.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Okay.
Let's give
Jillian,
each other a round of applause for our cunning effort. Down, it was funny.
okay, so Anna has a question for Jillian, and she wants to know how long did it take you to create your deck in total?
From the time it started to the time that it officially went into the printers was 2 years.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's a good length of time.
I'm looking for more questions.
Yeah, there was a few out there. They're 12.
The actual artwork didn't take 2 years, though. The actual artwork took about 1.5 years.
Yeah, y'all missed some good things up in the chat.
No, I just saw Bunny Kisses said Charlie Hunnam can eat crackers in my bed. All I got to say is if he's eating crackers in my bed, he better come with a friggin' Black & Decker Swiffer. I'm a Virgo and we don't do crumbs in the bed. Y'all be crazy.
You wouldn't sacrifice a little bit of crumbs in the bed for some Charlie Hunnam?
I would effectively take the crackers.
I'd sacrifice a goat for Charlie Hunnam. I would.
Whoa! Now we're getting into some dark shit.
I can't handle it. I'm surrounded by too much.
It's within the context of the conversation. I'm telling you.
Maybe she's talking
about
hummus and crackers.
Time out.
I'll put those things together. See?
Okay.
Triangle, bitch.
Did you just throw a timeout?
I'm so sick of hearing this argument about you're in too much estrogen.
I'm drowning in it. I'm drowning. Joe, save me. I'm drowning in estrogen.
Go out
Just
and
put the mute button on.
you wanted to get who was that you wanted to get on here? It was a bro. Go get him. Hello?
I'm working on it. I got a couple. Got a couple in the works.
There you go. There you go.
I sure do.
Okay, and Fab wants to know if you are publishing the deck independently or with a publisher.
Independently.
Boom.
Yeah. It was a big decision to make, and I went back and forth about it a lot of times. But it just made sense at this point to do it independently.
And that's exciting. And there's a huge market love call out for indie decks at the moment. I think that they are becoming those creations that people genuinely cherish because they are a relatively harder to get than a mass marketed deck. They come out in smaller quantities, which means that they're a more niche item, and you're always going to get a little bit more extra from an indie deck because it is handmade to a degree. You know what I mean? It's handmade with a bit of love, and it goes from point A to point B. So consider every independent deck creator out there. They are packaging up those decks. They're handwriting or stamping their little cards. They're doing it all. Like they are doing it all. It's not a team of people. It's one person doing it all, and it's a big job. So, it is a big,
it is a big job, and I really, truly, I mean, had I known what I was going into, it changed my mind about everything, but. You go one day at a time, but I think you don't realize, and especially with all the independent decks, and there's so many beautiful ones out there, I don't even think you realize the degree in which all the details are thought out, like every tiny detail. Like I just have such a huge appreciation for every deck that's come before me, before this experience, and all the ones to come, because it's a big feat.
All right. Okay, y'all, I'm going to flip off my camera and microphone for a hot second, and y'all can switch it over to reading.
What? Say it again.
She's
yeah.
We're switching objectives. So this is our favorite time of our episode. We all love to do this, and we love to involve our guests. So we're going to spend the next 30 minutes or so reading for our audience. So what we do is we all pull a single card, and sometimes we all participate in a question, and sometimes we don't. But typically we all pull a single card to answer a question, and for our and we give them just like a little bit of tidbit for each. Like if I started and I drew a card, say I drew the 7 of coins, because that's what's on top of my deck. And then I gave a little tidbit, and then somebody would go next and give a little bit more, and then somebody would go next, give a little bit more, and that kind of thing. So if you would love to join us, Ms. Jillian, we would love to have you.
I spoke to Allora a little bit about this the other day, and I'm ready to, I'll give it a go with you guys, but I do feel like I'm going through a vibrational shift right now, and I'm not super tapped in, turned in, so.
That's all right. That's all right.
We'll take what you've got. We'll take what you've got.
Take it. We will take it.
And I think it's all beautiful weaving as well. So if you look at it as weaving, there's always a common theme that runs through. By the time everyone's pulled their cards, there's a very common thread, and it's quite easy to anchor into one of those facets and build upon it. And it's fluid, it's easy, and it flows. So nothing to fear, nothing to feel apprehensive about.
No, but you know what, Avalon, when you're done your deck, I'd like to see what happens with your vibration. I'm curious.
All right, I'll let you know.
Yeah, please do. Yeah.
Should be interesting. Should be interesting.
I'm curious what decks you guys are using right now.
I'm using the Lumina Tarot.
Oh, pretty.
Where is your sun and moon, ma'am?
It's resting. I pulled cards for myself this morning, and they're sitting there, so I'm using that one today.
Fabulous. I am taking so I've had so much, so I've been adding and culling decks to my collection that I was going to go back to my tried and true tonight, but my English Magic Tarot has just been calling out to me so loud in my little book box that I keep all my decks in. And the last days it's been like, I need you, and I'm like, I need you, and so I pulled them out, and we'll be using English Magic Tarot tonight.
So it's being clingy.
It is super clingy. It's like I got all these new decks into the collection, and all of a sudden English Magic is like, no, I'm that deck. You can't have any more. This is me. Me time. Bro.
I think my cards are ready to talk. They're flying out of my deck like crazy.
Good.
Woohoo!
Good.
Alrighty,
Yeah,
alrighty.
I'm catching them with the headphone earbuds.
Feeling loose. Feeling loose. I haven't pulled cards for people since I broke my finger. Mama's home, let me just say.
I freaking love it.
And look, I can shuffle.
Booyah. I'm going to mute my mic for a moment so that I can do that thing that y'all hate and get some really good riffle shuffles.
The first question that we have going on comes from Tarot Alchemist. Please, hang on, this is the first one, yep. Please tell me about my journey into grandmotherhood.
Wow.
So, Lisa, your journey into grandmotherhood.
What's her name, please?
I beg your pardon?
Her name
What's
is
the name,
Lisa.
please? Lisa.
She is our tarot mummy from New Zealand. Aww.
All right, we're going to try this. Not sure how well it's going to go.
What are you doing?
I'm using my brand new gift.
Ah, okay. Is this a lover's gift? Is this a gift from your lover?
No, this is a gift from my brother, not my lover. Get it right.
Okay, okay. Okay.
No, this is from Chase.
From her brother from another mother.
And he says,
Well, that, okay.
Aww.
I hope it works
That was
well
really
for you.
sweet note too, by the way, Chase. You're such a little, such a little sweetie pie.
I know, and I'm single. Isn't that weird? Really weird. I feel like I'm such a catch, and I just sit here at 31, just single and ready to mingle, kind of.
Oh no, you've said the things on camera now. Get ready for the onslaught of
Oh God. The words have been spoken.
Just know, if you want to date him, you have to go through Avalon and I. Good luck. May the odds be ever in your favor.
We vet.
Right.
We vet with Charo too, so.
Our maniacal laugh.
Hexing is not the name for me. It's just that's my full
And
stop.
I just bought us both coffin nails, so don't play. I'm not.
I know it's a thing. It's a thing. I've got coffin nails. Welcome.
Hey, question.
Okay, I've got the Three of Wands, folks. I'm going to kick this one off. I've got the Three of Wands, and the Three of Wands for me is one of those cards of beautiful, creative productivity. And so your journey into grandmotherhood is going to be extremely productive. I also think it's going to take an element of that Lisa creativity. I think that you're going to be the grandmother that sings a lot of lullabies and makes them really jazzy and very unique. And you're going to infuse a rich sense of musical creativity into your grandchild. That's what I think.
He's going next. He's going next.
All right. So what I have drawn for you, my sweet, very dear, loving friend Lisa from the Tarot Alchemist, is the Magician, and I think it is so darn perfect. This is a card of you have all the possibilities and you have all the right stuff to make just the most amazing, stellar, dope, rad grandmother you can possibly be. This is, you should not have any nerves around it. You should not have any apprehensions, because you are going to just fall into your role so perfectly. And, spiritually, you've been given all the gifts, and you will know instinctively just what to do the first time that you, if I remember correctly, it is a her. When you hold her and when you talk to her and when you sing to her and do all these things, it's going to be so magical for you. I'm so excited for you. Congratulations.
All right, Jillian. What do you have?
Can I validate that last card with the Fool? I think that's a great card that comes next in line. It's a beautiful new beginning. I think this grandchild's really going to open your heart in a different way. It's going to bring a lot of magic into your life. In the Naked Heart Tarot, the reason why I created that card as the unicorn is because I think everybody brings a whole unique experience to somebody else's life. And I think this grandchild's really going to give you a different perspective and a different outlook on your journey.
And I'll wrap it up. So the card that came out for me is, I don't know if you can see this. Focus. The Knight of Pentacles from
I love that card.
Yeah, and this is really talking about, speaking to me on the fact that you're going to be the voice of reason for your child, not necessarily your grandchild, but for your child. So when they have moments of panic about being a parent, you're going to be the stable one who is patient and cautious with how you give advice to your son or daughter, but is very wise and rooted in earth medicine and natural healing and things like that. So I think you're going to guide your son or daughter to really tap into the medicine of nature and practices like meditation and being able to calm them when they are having holy shit parent moments that nobody else can calm them down. So that's what I got out of this.
You are more than welcome to speak my language anytime you would like. Using words like medicine and meditation. Look at you. And using the word dope. I love it. Now I'm rubbing off on you.
Y'all both rub off on me.
Y'all both rub off on me. Y'all both.
Well, Avalon and Loverboy have got me saying wicked and fuck right off and all these nonsense. And I'm like, what am I saying?
What are these words coming out of my mouth?
Welcome to Australia.
Yeah. All right, next question. Who is it? Natalie.
It is Natalie Poulin. Where should I be heading spiritually? This is like a giant question.
This is a big question.
love these kinds of questions.
But I feel like Natalie asks this one every broadcast.
You know what?
She
It's a good
obviously
question.
evolves. She's got rich evolutions, that one.
Fuck right off sounds very Scottish too. I can see that being said in a very strong Scottish accent, yes. Dope is the word of the day. It is the word of my day every day.
Yeah.
I'm just stuck in the 80s with my 80s American lingo. Dope and rad and stellar and sweet. Sticky, if you want to travel into the 90s just to start.
I'm going to start this one off because I already have cards.
I've got a card too, and I didn't want to go first.
Okay, so the one that came up for me is focus. Oh, there we go. The 9 of Wands. So this card's really speaking to me about the fact that we've said it probably 5,000 times in this broadcast. And Jillian is a perfect example and inspiration for the fact that in order to get to where you want to go, even though you don't know where that is, you have to let go and you have to stop being in fear and stop being apprehensive about not knowing and just jump. I mean, I know that the Fool exhibits that, but the Fool is more childlike and excitement and things like that. The 9 of Wands is more about victory through adversity type card, and the Griffin is sitting on the edge of the cliff and he's waiting to just go out there and conquer. And I feel like he has to step off the cliff, and so letting go, it needs to be a part of your practice. Stop having expectation.
That's
okay.
Beautiful. I've got mine follows through with that one because I got the 3 of Swords, and for me that's about surrender. So surrender to the moment, surrender to the experience, feel your way through the process. Endings come and go, you know, all of the time, and if we don't honor an ending fully and completely, then we are incapable of really moving through, transitioning to the next phase without those niggly, you know, hang-ups that that can tend to follow us. And so I think this is about the full cleanse, the surrender to the moment, the acceptance of that, and the moving forward in preparation for that giant forward leap that Allora was talking about. So 3 of Swords, a bitch of a card.
True that.
Is that me go?
Who's next?
You go.
Yeah.
Me go.
Claim it.
I pulled the 8 of Pentacles. So building on that, what's been said before, I feel really tapping into finding different aspects of spirituality, really digging deep into knowledge and finding out what's out there, what resonates with you, and really listening to what that is. And when you sort of trip onto something or fall onto something, to really listen to that voice and tap into that voice. And the more you listen to that voice, the more you'll start to trust that the path that you're starting to follow is the path that you're supposed to go on, and your spirituality will just build as a result.
Yeah,
Awesome.
pretty much all of that. So I have the Page of Cups, and I consider the page to be sort of this validation that you're in this sort of transition phase in your life, which is how I see, regardless of the suit. I just feel that the page is very much a transitioner and a studier and a learner, and maybe somebody who is not fully aware of their surroundings. In this case, Page of Cups, we're talking about, to be very literal, talking about emotions. And so this is, a very time of, I see a little bit of confusion, a little bit of, not knowing where to put your emotional energy. And so it is time to sit down and sort of take yourself back and put yourself back into that learning space and kind of don this learning hat. I always say all the time, and I feel like too, to speak of broken records, we always talk about on this show, is that it's okay to always be a student. We should always approach life as a student. We should never wake up one day and be like, I've learned it all, I'm the best, ready to go. because life is going to have a way of really shutting you down really fast. And, you know, it is so important for us in the spiritual path and those of us who are in this awakening process to be super humble, because there are going to be so many messages and so many different phrases coming to me as rays of light that are going to be coming to us that are going to be hard to decipher if we have, you know, closed mind and, you know, closed eyes in that way. So really just take yourself back and observe. This is going to be a huge time for you to observe. And in order for you to put your emotions in check, you are going to have to open your eyes and see all the messages that are coming to you from every place, the big ones, the small ones, you know, the ones that may seem insignificant right now in this transition process for you. Every message counts. So just be very aware of that.
Woo, woo.
Woo, woo.
That was delicious. And we move on. Congratulations, that was wonderful, everyone. We move on to Chrome 166. Now this is a cheeky one.
No. Back up,
Please.
I'm so sorry, Maddie. I'm so sorry.
No, back up even more. So Eveline put in a question first, and I completely skipped it. So if we could answer her next, that would be
Eveline.
Yes, Eveline. She asked, "Can I kick this insomnia?"
Oh.
Was the question how I kicked my insomnia?
Yes.
As I was yawning?
Yes.
No offense.
Oh my God.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I feel a rabbit card coming on.
Yeah, I got the Three of Swords.
Wow.
I was shuffling the whole way through the rest of your readings too, by the way.
That's really weird.
So, and I don't do these. I don't just put the card on top. I wedge it in between the deck and I shuffle. So it wants to make a little bit of a repeat here. And so there's obviously a very, very interesting and psychologically emotive block. So either path working and meditation would be highly, highly recommended, or ASMR with a healing edge. That's what I would say.
I'll go.
Go for it.
I got the Six of Cups. The message that I got from this also further builds on what Avalon was saying. There's sort of a past tripping that's going on right now, whether it is hyper awareness of thoughts that are really good, or they're hyper awareness of thoughts that are quite negative, but there's something that's happening. It's either future tripping or past tripping that's going on in your brain. It's running on overdrive, and your thoughts are causing a lot of emotional distress right now, and that's what's keeping you up. So you got to find a way to really alleviate those, let the ego go, and just let your mind soothe itself.
I can so back that up with my card. So I got the Death card, and for this specific question that you've asked, you know, the Death card is all about change, and it's all about things ending. And you know what this is pointing to is first and most resourceful would be to make sure that you are cutting off all of the things that are distracting you before bed, because you are already having a struggle with, you know, your own mind. You know, it's hard for us to shut that off. And so the biggest way that could help you was, you know, make sure that you have an hour set before bed, that there are no stimulating lights like computer screens and cell phone screens and all of those things. It's the most obvious thing that's coming through to me. But also the Death card is all about cutting a train of thought. You know, there's obviously a train of thought inside your head that is haunting you. Right? And I can so align with this because I am the worst insomniac ever. My mind just never shuts off. And so what the Death card is saying, that you need to train your brain to think differently. Cut off the train of thought that you have going on right now. Retrain it. Like, just stop it where it is. You know, there's power in sorry, I'm trying to decipher all of these things that are coming into my mind. There is power in you know, like when we're meditating. Here we go. Okay, train of thought. When we're meditating, you know, when we go into a meditative space, whether it's at the end of yoga or whether we're just doing straight meditation. You know, the harder, how we operate as humans is that the harder we try not to think about something, what's the first thing that our brains are going to freaking do? Think about it, and it's going to think about it hard. And so the great thing that we can do and how we can channel that energy is that we actually, instead of being like, stop thinking about that, stop thinking about it, go away, stop thinking about it, name it, call it out, be like, I see you. It's nice to meet you. Thank you for sharing this space with me. But now I'm going to name you, and then I'm going to send you on because you are not helping me here. So whatever it is, if it's stress that is ailing you and keeping you from sleep and getting to that center place where you can, you know, reach that restful place, name it. If it's stress, be like, I see you stress. You're not helping me. Now, please, please, please move on. Please move on. Our time together is short. Move on. So name it, and then just let it pass. And then, you know, from there, it's just a whole process. So stress comes in, you name it, leave it. Well, then you're going to start thinking about the next day. Well, you're going to start going through your grocery list and all those things, and name every single one, every single thing that comes in your mind. Name it. It's literally out loud. Say, that is a grocery list. Move on. That is me worrying about walking the dog tomorrow. I don't know why. Move on. That's me thinking about fruit. I don't know why. Name it. Move on. And that's what has helped me personally the most, and that is what is screaming loudly from this card.
So this is going to be an interesting wrap up of this read, because it's not going to make sense to any of you, but it makes sense to me. Well, it might make sense to you guys. I don't know. Okay. So 9 of Cups. Right? So what I got out of this card actually is, I don't know if you have a meditation practice right before you go to bed, but that is what I highly recommend. This is actually talking about the fact that, so the 9 of Cups, traditionally when we think about the 9 of Cups, we think about the wish card and things that we want, and like desperately. You want sleep desperately, yes? And so in what Chase was saying, the more that you try not to think about something, the more you think about it. Well, conversely, the more that you want something, the more that your mind is living in want instead of a state of gratitude, the more it is elusive and gets pushed away. And so try to calm yourself and put into practice maybe a small meditation. It doesn't have to be super long. Or if you're like me, if you do like a 30-minute to an hour-long meditation, that knocks me right out every time, because I can't sit still. So when I'm still, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm meditating and I'm done. So yeah, just try not to be living or thinking in that manner where you are so desperate to get sleep and be rid of insomnia that you obsess over it. And try to just still your mind before sleep.
Dope.
Yay. All right, who's next?
Yeah.
Who's next?
Maddie Lavini. So what guidance do I need with my current life shifts?
Love
Current life. What was the last word?
Shifts.
Oh, shifts. Okay. That's not what I heard.
That would probably be something that you go to the doctor for.
I'm gonna kick it off because I'd already pulled a card anyway.
So,
funny me. I got the Maiden of Pentacles, so the Page of Pentacles, and this is a beautiful page. And I've got to say that there's a delicious green to this card that makes it feel very earthy. She has the face of a dreamer. There's an archetype of a dreamer, I think, in most of the pages, or in all of the pages, I would say. Her medicine is to dream and then to anchor that dream, and to make sure that you are investing your time, your energy, your resources, your education into following through with that dream, with that grounded desire to create change. And so because you are looking for guidance, to do with your current shift, then for me, this card is telling you to go with the flow and anchor that down, and to do something constructive and resourceful with it that will yield well for you in future. And because this is a pentacle card, we are looking at the long-term future rather than the short-term future. So patience is a virtue with this particular card.
Yep. I'll follow it up with the Two of Wands. Are you ready to go?
Yeah, you go ahead.
Go for it.
So what I'm getting is that through this shift, there's something that you're not quite letting go of to be able to commit to something in the future, to be able to make a decision and put yourself into it full term. Again, as Avalon was saying, this is a commitment to a long-term choice that's coming up. So the only way for you to actually be able to move forward through this shift and accept it is to let go of something that's just sort of niggling there for you. It's not, you haven't quite been able to release it completely, but you have to commit to one way or the other. So if you want to commit to a long-term, different perspective, a different way of being, a different way of going through your life, you have to let go of whatever this last little bit of a thing is to really commit to be able to build a different future.
All right, Stace, you think you're last or am I last?
I can go next. So what was interesting was that I drew this card and I really had to start thinking about it. And when Jillian said there's something nitpicking at you, so the card that I drew is a Four of Swords, but I really want to explain the card before I start explaining why I get the message that I do. So for this particular Four of Swords, I get a very Ten of Swords kind of vibe from it because he is laying down, the typical Four of Swords. We're talking about meditation and rest and drawing back into ourselves and sort of re-energizing. But this particular Four of Cards really strikes me as more of a Ten of Swords, Four of Swords. Can I talk? It has a Ten of Swords vibe because he is laying there in rest, but he's being poked by swords, both from the bottom and the top. So when you said that nagging line, I was like, that's it. So there is something that is keeping you where you are. And I don't think that you are inherently aware of what it is. I think you're aware that it's there, but you don't know what it is. So the part of the Four of Swords that is coming through to me, really draw back in yourself and use this meditative space and the time that you have to really figure out what that is. And, if we're talking about swords, we're talking about, being stuck in our thoughts. And so really it may be something, the message that I'm getting, it may be in your head more than it is actually out into it's not quite in a pen state. It's not a resource. It's not a physical thing yet. And so what you are perceiving may not actually be there. So keep that in mind too as you go back into your meditative space. I'm struggling talking, bro. I'm sorry. But definitely go back into your meditative space and keep all of that in mind when you're figuring out what it is, what sword it is that is stabbing you and really, really bothering you.
Okay, and now I'll go last. And this is so fitting, right? Okay, so the card that came up for me is Strength.
I love that card.
So, the message that I'm getting from this is really interesting because all of a sudden for some reason, I just started automatic writing when I drew this card because I don't know why, but I express myself better in written word. From Strength, the words beliefs, convictions, and empowerment came through. And I really think that with what Jillian and Chase and Avalon were saying, with anchoring your beliefs with what Avalon said, and then the thing that's been nagging you that you need to let go, I think that you need to stand in your power when it comes to figuring out what exactly do you believe and how strong do you believe it? Are you willing to stand up with conviction for it? And I think that once you kind of sort through what it is you believe versus what it is you're unsure of, that thing that you're unable to let go of will kind of rise to the surface of that stack of thoughts. And then you'll be able to recognize it and work through it and then let it go. So I think that is the wrap-up card for your reading.
Dope.
Dope. Why is there echo?
Why not? I feel like an echo is like a like when you say something big, when somebody announces something and there's an echo behind it, there's like power behind it. It's an emotional thing.
All right.
So,
So how are you feeling? Like it's 1:30 for me. We technically were a bit late, so getting on our
Technically
podcast.
is the good word for it.
technically, right? Technical issues.
Y'all tell me.
I already have a card for the next reading, so.
All right. We're gonna power through. I like it. I like the determination. I just jumped off to quickly make my daughter some lunch. That's why I left. She came in and went, "Mum, I'm a bit hungry," and I just finished my card, so I'm like, perfect timing. So I just quickly made her some lunch. She's sorted. She's watching Moana, immersing herself in the experience.
Oh, I love that movie.
Me too.
So does she.
So good. It's all about
So
life's
good.
purpose.
So good.
I know.
I just came to say you're welcome. You're welcome.
I'm shiny. Like a
Maui.
diamond. So shiny.
Love it. So shall I kick us off?
We sing, we dance, we're sexually inappropriate.
What's the question?
The question is, so next up is Chrome 166. Should I begin a creative project? And I love that this card, as I was reading your question, I actually had a card that oddly wriggled its way up out of the deck. And so I snatched it, and I actually loved the card that I drew for you. So I want to kick us off.
Okay.
The card that I kicked I didn't kick it out. The card that kicked out of the deck was the Lover's card. And so it's asking me, well, how attached to it are you? Like, is it something that you are willing to see through to the end, or is it like a superficial thing? Is it like, as we were discussing before we went live, is this a hit it, quit it kind of a thing, or is this something, a relationship kind of a thing that you want to see through to the finish, to fruition, to a final, delicious, blooming, finished product? So you got to ask yourself that before you can give yourself sort of that kind of answer. So that's what I got.
I'm next.
Yeah.
I've got Allura. I've got the Hermit. The Hermit for me is about the spiritual retreat into the self to seek illumination, to seek inner wisdom and illumination. And it's a very personal odyssey that takes place when we go into that hermit state. It's not necessarily the seclusion from people, because in modern constructs, of course, it's quite hard to find your own space these days unless your circumstances dictate so, right? And so this is about the inward glance, like the inward odyssey. And I think in order for you to genuinely begin your creative project, it's like Chase said, how committed to it are you? And you really need to go into yourself at this moment in time and have that inner odyssey moment and seek out exactly what it is that your greatest motivation is. Not being defined by other people. Do not define your creative endeavors through the eyes of somebody else. This is a very personal and unique journey, and therefore it needs to come with some higher motivations for you personally. And so not the whys, but don't ask yourself why or should. Ask yourself why you genuinely want to, what inspires you, and go in the direction of that inspiration so that you can flourish from the inside out and allow that creativity to naturally spill over into everything that you do. Because the answer to your question is yes, of course. Of course you should start a creative project, but you really need to start. So with that deeply personal inner glance, completely disconnected from the outside world, in order to create with beauty. In other words, you need to step into Jillian's phase where she went, deeply inside of herself, having her hangman experience, of course, that she was in a reflection mode and real surrender in her story. So use her as your compass for creative inspiration in this moment. You just became the hermit to me, Jillian.
Okay, I'm next. I know that
I'll take it.
Wait. You're going to wrap it up because this is going to follow.
No, I meant I'll take the compliment.
Avalon was just talking about going inside yourself, right? And so I had the Page of Cups pop up, right? And so Page of Cups for me is very indicative of a student energy, like learning stuff. So when I see the page, well, the pages specifically, they're about learning things. So Avalon's talking about the hermit, talking about going inside of yourself spiritually and emotionally and creatively, right? Well, the Page of Cups tells me that you have some shadow work to clear out when it comes to your own emotions. And you need to, if you're going to engage in a creative endeavor, you need to choose something that you are emotionally, creatively, and spiritually invested in, tied to, means something to you. And you have to have fun while you're doing it. And like I don't know if you can see this, but she's riding a dolphin in this card. And dolphins are very fun and playful animals, and they are very social creatures. Side fact, they're one of the only mammals other than humans to have sex for fun. So it has to be something that brings you great orgasmic joy if you're going to go into a creative endeavor. So yeah, that would be that's my card for you, is clear out the emotional shadow work and then start on your journey.
I pulled the 8 of Wands. So I think what I'm tapping into with all of this and what's been said before is it's the same, it's the validation of the same thing. It's you really need to tap into how much passion and how much desire is actually fueled inside of you to create this project, because things are moving forward for you at such a fast pace right now that either this project will come in and go out just as quickly as it came in and it will have no solidity to it, or it has an opportunity, if you really tapped in and tuned into it, it has the opportunity to create a lot of momentum and a lot of speed and a lot of fire, and really go from something that's small and create into something that's really big. But you really need to tap in, because if you're not connected and rooted to where the passion of this is, like I said, it will come in and go out as fast as it came in.
Beautiful.
Can we just pause here for a second and just give some kudos? Because Jillian, I've never heard you read, or I've never even talked to you in person, and the way you read is blowing me away. So I really love it.
Thank you.
Good show.
Yeah.
You guys too. This is fun. Thank you. Thank you for this.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for coming into this, right? Yeah, it's our pleasure.
And showing us like unreleased cards and
right.
Is it like your dolphin pleasure over there?
Joy, baby.
There's always a rabbit card in there somewhere. Somebody's gotta say the O word.
Why's it gotta be a rabbit card? Why's it gotta be a rabbit card?
We always have a rabbit card where the answer is always like, have some facts. Have some facts.
Remember that one broadcast where I can't remember who it was? Like, we're all like, these cards are saying you need to get laid.
Like, I literally drew the rabbit card from the medicine card deck after y'all had started even talking about just go have sex. And then I draw the rabbit card and I'm like, you've got to be freaking kidding me. Absurd.
That's divine guidance. That is.
It's something. It is something.
Well, how are you guys feeling? I just wanted to check in. We've got, there's what, 1, 2, 3. There's three questions left. Are you game, or do you want to pull the pin?
I got about 15 minutes before I gotta go to bed. I gotta be up before 4:30 in the morning.
Okay, so rapid fire readings. Okay, rapid fire. Yeah. All right. Shuffle with haste, so it
Post haste. There you go. Got it. Got it.
I got one. And this is for Random Witch. How do I deal with the bullshit self-doubt? You need to successfully end a cycle and begin something from a completely different perspective, because what you do isn't working for you at this very moment in time. And if you do what you've always done, you'll have what you've always had. Boom.
Bam. Done. Jeez.
Done. Go. Next. Feeling good. Feeling good.
I don't feel like that.
Where's the energy? Where's the energy?
All right, so,
you're the only one on rapid fire right now.
Right? And shit, like the energy was up and it just went.
Do it.
So the King of Wands is what I have. So this is like the action of action. This is getting fire under your butt and just doing something. So, you know, how you get over this, how did you word it? Bullshit self-doubt is you have to go out and you have to take action and you have to do things that are going to rid you of that self-doubt. Do things that you're good at, do things that you enjoy, do things that are meaningful to you and that will just wipe away this whole, you know, get out of your head. Get out of your head. Don't be a sword. Go be a wand and go do things.
By the swords.
You have this. You're next.
Your head. This is Chase was just saying you have to get out of your head. There's some sort of conflict that's happening. That's between you figuring out what's ego and what's your actual divine truth. So you really need to try to find the separation and try to find the truth through it all, because there's a lot of anguish right now in your head, like you're thought tripping big time. So you just need to stop the battle from within and just release and let it go.
Okay, and are you ready for this?
So ready.
Sorry, random. So basically, burn that shit to the ground and start over completely. So to stop the self-doubt, you really have to shadow work and really get rid of, like, start with a singular belief and go all the way through it. Every one that you have when it comes to spirituality and or creativity or whatever it is you have self-doubt in, go through every single belief associated with that, and even ones that you might not think are associated with that. Completely pick it apart and figure out why you feel the way you feel about it, why you think the way that you think about it. And if it no longer resonates, throw that shit in the garbage and allow new growth to come through. Like the lovely stump in the Naked Heart Tarot. Just fucking burn it to the ground.
Burn it.
Burn it.
Burn it.
Yeah.
I love that.
Burn it down. Burn it down.
Yep. If it doesn't resonate with you, just chunk it, man. There is nothing wrong with getting out of an awful relationship or a friendship, or hell, if it is not working for you, like, you got to worry about you sometimes, right? Yeah. Get out.
Oh, my cards all spilled. I'm out.
I just have to say, too, that I feel like Jillian and I are working off of each other for these readings really well, and so I'm feeling very privileged and honored for that.
Yeah, same. Thank you.
Thank you for your beautiful energy. I appreciate that.
He's single.
Seriously, my cards are down, though.
I'm so bad. Oh, like, he's single.
And by the way, he's single and cries himself to night every night. Cries himself to sleep every night.
Cries himself tonight. I believe.
Himself tonight. I don't know what that was. My mix of English. That was awful. Awful.
I already got a card for the next one, so I'll start.
Do it.
So this is Erica Justine. How will my trip to New Orleans for Samhain go? Okay, so this card, like, leapt out of the deck. The moon.
I love it.
It's really awesome. Discover new things that you didn't know existed, new practices, and maybe things about yourself that you didn't know you could do when it came to your practice. Also, what's going on?
I'm next, though. I'm next because of that statement.
I love stack readings for this purpose. Anyway, but things that you didn't know that you could necessarily go through with, actually participate in. So keep an open mind. The other thing that I would tell you as well is, in a literal sense, if you go out at night, just be very careful. Things lurk in the shadows, and especially Samhain, you know, that's the time when the veil is the thinnest. So make sure to protect yourself so that you don't bring anything home with you that is not that didn't come down to New Orleans with you. I know that sounds crazy, but trust me, it happens. So take some juju protections. And Avalon, go.
Yeah. Okay. So I got the Two of Cups reversed, right? And something about what Allora said sparked my interest, and it gave a clarity to this card. I have this sneaking suspicion, and it's not a sneaking suspicion. For me, it's a general absolute. Samhain is the time of the veil thinning, of course, and so we see reflections not only of ourselves and our older selves, our older lives, our past lives, our ancestral essence, but we also touch quite heavily with the veil. And when you go to an activated place like, New Orleans, which is a power center for, magical activity, it has a history and a heritage attached to it that makes it a beacon for the mystically minded. And so you're there in this very activated space. It's time to connect with the conduit for the divine, which is the element of water, and see if you can work with mirror magic or do scrying bowls, like inky water scrying bowls, and try out in sacred space in that particular geographical location that is so heavy with that kind of energy, to see how your gifts, your skills, your intuitive faculties respond to such activities, and if you get a different experience trying out these particular skill sets in such a place. And it's a beautiful time to do inky scrying bowls, black mirrors, and things of a reflective nature to really look and tap into intuitively. So try your hand at a little divination. And ancient love life issue could come up as well. So just saying, that could be a thing. I'm done.
All right, so this is going to be sort of out in left field, and this has nothing to do with one of those rare occasions where this is going to have nothing to do with what anybody is talking about whatsoever. So what I have drawn is the 10 of coins, and let's talk about what is coming through for the 10 of coins. So I see the 10. Anytime I deal with 10s, and I don't know what it is about 10s, but the Kabbalah just screams so loud with me, because if a 10 pulls up, and let me sort of, and I'll make this short and sweet because I could talk about the Kabbalah forever, but in the Kabbalah, the 10s mainly speak out loud to me, because we have, the 10s place in the Kabbalah is about fixing. So we have like this sort of ending phase through the 9s, but then if an ending happens that didn't quite work out right or anything like that, then we have this sort of extra 10s place so that we can fix it, and we can create the endings that we want to. So what's coming out for me for this 10 of coins is that very much a resource is literally talking about coins. There is going to be something that is going to happen that is going to cost you a little bit of extra money, something unexpected that will happen while you're there. And so just be wary for that. And I don't know if the solution is to take a little bit of extra cash or just be super wary, because I do feel like it's something that you could avoid. And I wish that I had more details than that, but I don't. It's just telling me to just go prepared, be prepared, and bring enough resources to cover all the possibilities. Something that you can fix. Okay? Okay.
You got one, Jillian?
My cards went down, remember?
Yes, they are indeed.
Okay, what do we have next? This last one, right?
Yes, the last one that we have is from Joe, and he asked, in a huge tower death phase at the moment, what can I call upon to get me through? What can I call upon to get me through?
Your inner resolve.
Right. What can I call upon to get me through? What can I call upon?
You know what? I'm going to go an oracle.
I did the same thing.
Ooh, let's all do it, because I have an oracle deck next to me that I can actually
Do it.
All right.
Yay!
And I'm doing this in a very odd way, but it just calls me to do it, so I'm doing it.
God, I love these, and they smell so good. Oh my God.
What are they?
Huh?
Is scratch and sniff deck?
It's the Samadhi.
Oh, yes.
These were gifted.
Scratch and sniff?
No, these were gifted to me by Nadia. And they had incense. They had Nadia's incense inside the box. Okay, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that's nice.
I love it.
We
You
missed.
should come out with a scratch and sniff deck, though.
Face ain't
A
even
center
listening.
deck, full stop. A pole
Yeah.
center deck. Imagine that.
That's it.
Oh,
We have two more
what was
questions.
the question again?
We have 2 more questions.
What was this
Well,
question?
in a huge tower death phase at the moment, what can I call upon to get me through?
Oh.
Me.
Go.
You need to call upon the keeper of magic. So the inner magician, the inner alchemist, the great transformer. The gateway to such an archetype is through winged animal. I would go ahead and say crow and or raven, although a phoenix or even a vulture would work in this capacity. But I think that going directly to the heart of magic and having a chat to the Norns, the keeper of the wheels, the fates, while you're there, because they're busy at work weaving your narrative at this moment, and it would be a very good time to go on an inner journey path working, to have a little chat with them and see if you can't offer them a gift, a sacrifice, a something to assist you in traversing these troubled waters. So that's my witch reading for you, because I'm holding crow in my hand.
I have to go next. I have to. Do you all see this card? Like, do you all see this? Like everybody's witnessing this, right? You said, I swear to God, you can't make this shit up. I was flipping the card over. You said Crow Raven. I flipped this card over. That is Crow Raven. So let me add a little bit of Red Earth spiel onto what she was saying. So right now we are in the time of Raven. And so this is all about connecting back to your magic practice. And this is all about, getting back to what makes you tick spiritually. And so definitely connect back into that. And definitely like the energy of Raven is just so immense anyway. And so mixed with, the energy of Crow. So we're talking about getting back into the void as well. And in Native American spirituality, it's about, we all came from the void. Is where we all start, and that's where we'll all come back to when this life is done for us. And so what it's saying too is that a lot of times when we see dark and we don't know what's in there, we get scared. And this isn't a time to be afraid. This is a time to, because the void also holds answers. And so we kind of want to embrace the void and use it as a tool to learn from instead of being scared from it. So call on some energy that maybe that makes you a little bit nervous, because I think in that there's going to be some really good and some really strong, powerful lessons and some new bonding with some new energies and some new, maybe some new deities that you don't know are around you, but they are there and they are calling out to you. Whether that even be, the Raven can stand for the Morrigan. It can, there's Thor. Like there's so many different directions that that could go. And so definitely dig into that because it's there.
Is it me or Jillian?
Coin toss.
Huh?
Coin toss.
Coin toss.
Pentacles toss. Go for it, Allora.
Okay. So this is what came up for me. This is, I don't know if you can see it. I can't pronounce that, but it says focus. So basically the biggest things that I'm getting from this is there is no escaping this. There is no running from this. There is no diversion from this. There is no splitting your attention from this. And if you do so, it's going to make it harder on yourself. It's going to create swimming upstream against currents when it's unnecessary. So to maintain focus and persevere and dive into this instead of trying to get away from this. Okay, I'm done.
Okay. I got simplicity. Which I think is perfect. So I think building on what Allora was saying, I think it's a time to really, you can't escape what's happening, so you need to go simple. So really back to the basics, back to self-care in the best way possible, whether it's a daily routine of just taking a shower, the things that we take for granted that when we're doing really well and life is flowing really easy, really, really simplify it for yourself and just be proud of yourself, be stoked on yourself that you've got up and you brushed your teeth in the morning, be happy that you were able to take a shower, be happy that you were able to eat some food and nourish your soul. So just right now, just nourish the simplicity of your life and know that it's enough. Know that it's enough right now. And all of those pieces will get you somewhere. And don't be hard on yourself because you're expecting to be in a further place already. You just really need to just be proud of the simple right now, because in itself, that will make you feel better and that will guide you into the light.
Yay! Did somebody
Yay.
get the last question from Rebel Child? Or no?
I was looking for it. I'm about as helpful looking for things as, I don't want to say it because it's rude, but I'm not helpful, is what I'm trying to say.
Was there one more question?
There is.
Okay, I'm going Oracle for this one too.
If we can find it.
Okay. Wow, I'm way back up there.
Yeah, I don't see.
Rebel Child Tarot. Where am I being guided educationally? Where am I being guided educationally?
Okay. Ooh.
Ooh. I'm going to go, should I go the same oracle deck or should I go a different oracle?
I'm
sticking with Raven. I'm going to stick.
Can I start? Because I had a card jump out really fast. Okay. So you got surfacing. So this is a time when things are starting to bubble up. You might not be super clear as you've asked the question, how are things going to open up for you? And you're looking for clarity in that. But I think there's something to just sitting in it right now. It's not a matter of rushing your direction forward. You need to connect inward, because I think there's a lot of ideas that are bubbling up in your head right now, and there's a possibility, and you're seeking too much external validation for which direction you should be going in, but you need to just slow down and connect to yourself and just give it some time, almost give it up so that it can come through and actually surface on its own, because you're pushing too hard to try to connect to something opposed to letting it just be something.
I like that. I could follow that up actually, because I have card 34, which is freedom. And I think that you need to release all of your anchors at the moment and just experience that freedom of floating, of flying, of feeling unencumbered, being minimalistic, of just, detaching essentially and floating until, your universe, your guides, your gods, your deity, whatever it is that, you consider to be your guiding force, points you in a direction that is of true, genuine resonance for you personally. From an educational point of view, I'm not 100% clear on whether you are meaning, higher education, formalized education, or if you're looking at education from the point of view as life lessons and personal lessons and things of that nature. But this message of freedom, of unencumbering yourself, of, removing all of your anchors, works both ways on either one of those particular avenues. And I think you need to just experience that freedom, because there is a lot of intense focus energy in your question. And I think right now your brain needs a bit of a holiday, and it needs to just detach and experience that moment of freedom and holiday and vacation and party time, and just, you know, release, and so that you can actually reset your spirit, because too much intensity will end up creating stress, which will end up impacting your process of education negatively. And so you want to make sure that you cut loose and have sex and party and
what? Wait, how did we get here?
and just it's part of having a good time.
I like
and just express yourself, like, freely, openly, sensually, creatively, like, really go out there and express yourself with that delicious freedom. So
I'm gonna be chased for a minute.
Raven said so.
Why does it always go to places?
What's going on with your mic?
Huh?
Yeah, whose is that noise?
What is that?
That's Allora.
That's the buzzer. Time's up.
Yeah, it sounds like your mic it sounds like super electronic, like broken. But while she's doing that, let me go next. So I have drawn for you the judgment card, and particularly this judgment card. I'm gonna hold that up again for you guys. So this judgment card is showing a depiction of the Burning Man, and not the current Burning Man, but it's also going to have something to do with what I'm going to talk about, as well as the past original, what the Burning Man was. And so what I'm getting from this judgment card and the Burning Man, I feel like right now that you are inside of the Burning Man, about to be burned. And there's a lot of people that are pointing at you, telling you to be one way, or you know, telling you that you have to be this specific person and you have to grow up to be this specific way. And it's time to push back on those boundaries, and, you know, getting back into what the Burning Man is now. It's time to just, as everybody was saying, to celebrate. You know, the Burning Man now is all about music and celebration and, you know, all those things. But so it's time to be that part of you now, and to just break away from expectations from other people. That's the key word I've been looking for. Expectations. You know, in your entire life, and as you're growing up, and I don't even know how old you are, to be honest, but I'm getting a very a younger vibe from you from this question. And so, and by younger, I mean younger than I. And so, so I feel like you do have, I just feel this very strong pressure that everybody's pressuring you to be something that maybe you don't want to be, or you don't want to fit into a particular box. And that's, as you know, a younger individual, it's important that you establish that now and learn that it's okay, even if it's your own parents who are telling you that you have to be this and you have to do this. Well, no, you don't have to. And I'm not telling you to, depending on how young you are, and I'm not telling you to disrespect your parents in that way, but you do have to figure out who you are, what you want, what your convictions are. I feel like I said that word a lot too. You have to know what your convictions are, and you have to spend that time doing that. I lost my camera. Are you still there? Yes. Okay. So and so you have to spend some time really figuring out what makes you tick, and what makes you, and what makes you just breathe genuine breaths of genuine air. Air is such a powerful thing for medicine people. You have to figure out who you want to share air with, and I don't necessarily mean in a relationship. I mean who you want to surround yourself with. Who is worth it to you to share oxygen with, and what passions will make you come alive and make you just on fire for life and being alive and helping others. And so many messages coming through. I've been talking forever. Sorry, but that's it.
I'm out this reading. My card said no. So
okay. Why are you giggling?
Because her cards rarely say no. Her cards rarely say no. And I can only actually think of 2 other times where her card said no. There was like, there's an interesting story behind that I'll get from you later on.
No, all right.
Just saying.
All right. So is that a wrap?
That appears to be a wrap. I think we've got everything.
Fantastic. Would you like to wrap us up? It's a wrap.
The wrap.
It is
Take us home, Allora. Take us home.
Take us home? Okay. Well, we're already home. But anyways, thank you everybody for joining us tonight. We had the lovely Jillian C. Wilde. Her new deck, the Naked Heart Tarot, is going to drop sometime at the end of October-ish. And there will be a heads up. Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
To you, to the email list, and to Instagram.
Yes. I want one. And Jillian, make sure that you stay online with us once we end this broadcast so we can formally say a good thank you behind the scenes as well.
Yes. All right. I like that.
We do have, that does happen a lot where our guest feels like they have to like cut it off immediately. So we need to start specifying that, hey, just because we say bye doesn't mean you say bye too. We're not done with you.
We know what's going. We know what's going.
All right. Case, if you want to say some final words.
I do. So as I always say, thank you guys so very much for being here. You are the rock and the backbone and why we do what we do. Without you guys, there would be no us. And so you guys are such a powerful driving force, and we'd love to, like, we feed off of you and your energy and what you bring us, and our actions are based on, yes. And with all that action and all the support that you guys give is an endless thank you. And I am very excited to begin working on my Oracle deck. And Christina and I will be reaching out to you guys soon to set some dates for some Red Earth rallies so we can begin the creation process. It's all very exciting and very tingly. And, you know, as I always end my broadcast, I'm sending loving energy your way. I love you guys so very much, and I will be talking to you soon.
That's beautiful. And I've had a great deal of fun kicking back into it. I've been off from live broadcasts for a little while. I've had a lot of stuff going on. And so I haven't had an opportunity to catch up with these beautiful soul siblings for a very long time, it feels. And, you know, nothing has changed, but so much has changed at the same time. Energy is still there. And you guys, it's always a privilege to sit here and share with you. It is an even bigger privilege to be able to receive your questions and for us to read for you. We take that honor very seriously, and we understand that it takes a lot to type something out in public, especially when you're looking for guidance for yourself, and putting it out there in such an open forum for everybody else to see what it is that you're working with, on what shit you're dealing with. Like, that's a bit ballsy, and that's what we really, really like here at Spread This Witches, is ballsy. You guys are an amazing tribe, and we just love, you know, interacting with you each and every day. And you do bring a tremendous amount of inspiration, and you do support us quite a great deal. And so to you, we say a great big thank you. And to Jillian, I just want to say that your conversation, your storytelling, your reading style, everything is so impressive. I've got to say, you are a genuine intuitive. And you come at it from a really big heart space, and you've shared a lot of your personal story with us, and thank you for allowing us to hold space for you as you did that. You have inspired us in many ways, and everyone watching will be able to drink in some of your uniquely beautiful medicine. So thank you very much for spending some time here with us, and that's it for me.
And last but not least, Jillian, if you would like to say some words before we cut this off.
I would like to say some words. Thank you. I would like to send a deep, heartfelt thank you, especially to you, Allora, because you found me and you brought all of us together. So I feel super grateful. I was very nervous coming on, as I said to you earlier. This is my first going live. So, and then to have some technical difficulties on top of that had me a little flustered at the beginning. So thank you all very much for bearing with me. It was a pleasure to introduce myself for the first time, I think publicly, really, with you guys. Your amazing energy. You guys are fantastic. You're giving the world a beautiful gift, and you're calling in some big energy. So yeah, from the bottom of my heart, I have a lot of gratitude for tonight's session, and it was a lot of fun. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. And I didn't know that you'd never been live anywhere. Gosh, I feel like because we're so bomb diggity.
And I have to throw it out there too that the non-tech savvy guy fixed the tech issues. It was me.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, you did. See. Thank you.
Half an hour later, we got it nailed.
Got it. Fixing all them tech things.
Let's clarify, because the non-tech savvy guy is the only member of the STW crew who currently owns a MacBook. So, and that's what the problem is.
Hey, you know what? All details aside, details, schmeetails. I fixed the problem. All that we need to remember from this conversation is that I fixed it.
Okay, you fixed it.
You take this glory. You take this glory, Chase. It's yours. You take it.
It's mine. All mine. I take it.
All right, guys. Thank you for joining us tonight, and we will see you in 2 weeks on the 23rd. And we are going to have Karis. Yeah?
Yes.
Karis Melina
Yes,
Brown.
I have been. Karis Melina Brown. She's going to come and talk veil thinning and witchcraft with us.
I'm excited. All right, guys. We'll see you then. We love you. Thank you so much. Good night.